Hello and welcome back to the channel. We are here with the final episode of Hellbound, episode 6. Last time on Hellbound, we had some interesting developments with this new family that we've been following. The producer, whose name I've not forgotten. But look, it's not my fault. As soon as I learned the detective's name, they switched over to a new family. It's the writer's fault. But I'll get his name eventually. He went to the Soto organization, which is now led by Jin, and he was given two options, either, which I had predicted in the last episode. It was one of two things: either he allowed them to hide his family, and allow them to mourn their child in private, or give her permission to broadcast the demonstration live so that they could combat the lies that the New Truth have been spreading about what this event actually is. The professor retold his story about his daughter who died, and her judgment that was passed for 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go to hell. So this is some strange phenomenon that's taking place. We don't know whether it's some entity that maybe could be considered a god, not necessarily the god that these people worship. It could be some alien life form. It could be something happening here within our plane, just another unexplainable event that we've just not been able to, assess or describe or give any meaning to, as there have been several throughout human history. So we don't know what it is, but no one is trying to find out what it is because they've been fed this lie that this is something to do with God, when it was never said to be, except through Chairman Jin-soo. So here we are. The professor was killed. I mentioned some frustrations in the last episode about how easily this group was found and how careless they were, considering that they are in the business of being careful and hiding and keeping people safe. The first guy was picked up rather easily. The professor was picked up rather easily. They don't have anyone watching each other's backs or anything. Even Mini Jin is just there in that apartment by herself. There's no one out keeping a watch. They didn't seem very organized, which was just very strange, because when we were introduced to them, they were introduced as being very organized. A whole group of them showed up at the scene to take away the producer's partner before the New Truth arrived. And even then, the professor was careless in showing his face to the man, to the producer there. So it I don't know. It was all just a bit bizarre as to how things escalated with this group. I don't know if they're done now, if there's nothing else for them to do, because Mini Jin did call the producer back and say, and the deal is still on the table. So perhaps they're still operational, and then they can still proceed. But there's one huge wrench in the plan, which is the producer's wife has now taken their child to New Truth, and as I mentioned in the last episode, I don't have a lot of criticisms for the show as a whole, but there are a few. I'll get more into that towards the end of the video, but his wife showed up to New Truth with their child, and he should have seen that coming, because it was quite evident based on how she was describing her experience and referring to the child as that thing, and the first thing that she checked when she got the decree was New Truth's website. So the red flags were there, and I think the producer should have picked up on that. But then the detective in the first 3 episodes, he missed all of those red flags with his daughter as well. So these people don't appear to be very attentive to their loved ones, but we'll see where the story goes. He'll need to either get there before she gets in. I don't know if maybe Mini Jin called him early enough and he can stop her before she goes inside. Because once she enters that building, it's game over, man. It's game over. So I'm interested to see how this ends. As I mentioned before, my great hope is that I learn more about this event or entity that is happening. That is the thing that intrigues me the most. But they've been shying away from it. They've been giving us subtle hints as to what it is not, but they've not been telling us what exactly it is. So I'm hoping that with this final episode we'll get some answers. We don't have to get them all, but I would hope that we'll get some resolution before the season ends. All right, guys, the finale for Hellbound. Let's check it out. He was really reckless with this whole thing, and his wife hasn't been speaking to him since day one.
송소연 씨, 이쪽으로 오세요.
I mean, why wouldn't you tell him that you're coming here? He's your husband. It's his child. Oh, God. It's too late. It's too late. Why even have the criminals when you can have people who are idiotic doing stupid shit, I'm sorry. I just can't see taking my child to these random ass people. Yeah. It's too late. They're both dead. Who's we? I hope she has backup. Why would this woman do this?
고지가 잘못된
Why
일이
would you do
있어요.
this?
방금 태어난 아기가 어떻게 무슨 죄를 지어요?
No, of course not. God is never wrong, Your child sinned.
지금 사무실에 있는 여자 밖으로 못 나가게 감시하세요.
If you wanted to be a better mom, this was not the way to go about doing it. I mean, we already know what these people are gonna do. They're just in it for the money. Especially this guy. I'm wondering whether his second in command will push back, because he seems to believe more in it than the chairman does. But it's a very thin line. I don't know whether he will.
그렇지.
일단은 저 애기랑 저 여자 따로 격리시켜요. 그리고 저 영상 알고 있는 게 누군지 알아내서 싹 다 격리시켜요.
네, 알겠습니다.
Nope. I guess he's fine with it. She didn't think about this? Oh my god.
늦었네요. 연락 왔어요?
아니요, 지금 계속 연락이 안 됩니다.
상담실 삐동이요. 저쪽으로.
There aren't a whole lot of them. And I don't know if they have enough, especially if the arrowhead shows up. It's gonna be pretty terrible.
애기가 이렇게 울어. 애기 저 좀 주세요.
No! The hell? No!
괜찮아요. 애기 잘 봐요. 저 주세요.
애기 엄마는 가방 들고 나오세요.
She's showing up publicly, but that's unavoidable at this stage. Oh, well, that works.
10분 뒤면 지옥에 갈 죄인입니다. 야, 저거 뭐야? 지금 당장 의장님께 죄를.
Oh, that worked.
어떤 남성이 로비에서 10분 뒤에 시연을 받는다고 난동을 부리고 있습니다.
I can't even feel any sympathy for her. I'm sorry. Why would she go here? to get the baby. Come on, guys, hurry up. These guys aren't fighters. Hey, don't be afraid to smack her even if she's a woman. Don't touch my baby. I hope the copy that she gave this guy wasn't the only copy. Otherwise, they are in trouble. Nope, that's not. Time to go. Oh, they're gonna try and block the way. Oh. I hope that wasn't the only copy that she gave them, and she still has a copy of the decree on the phone, because they are gonna need that. But the important thing is to get the child back.
기자들이 많아서 당장은 어쩌지 못할 거예요.
이후에 저희가 바로 보호할 겁니다.
Your protection doesn't appear to do a whole lot. I'm angry at this mother, though. I'm angry at the mom.
무슨 일이 있어도 그놈들을 꼭 잡겠습니다.
But now New Truth knows about this thing, and they're gonna do everything they can to prevent it from happening, which is not good.
내일이 시연인데 말이야. 그걸 사람들이 알면 어떻게 될 것 같아? 대혼란. 정말이야.
And worse than the one that you're in now.
장난치듯이 원칙도 없이.
So we're criminals now. Oh, it's tomorrow, so they don't have a lot of time. They need to be able to broadcast it somehow. I mean, once it's on the internet, it'll probably spread, but still not going to be easy. So someone else who received their decree a long time ago. I wonder if this is someone that we actually met. Oh, if they received the decree a long time ago, probably not.
아, 예, 윤혜진 변호사님. 아, 오신다고 연락받고 놀랐는데. 들어오세요.
I do think Mini Jin should be disguised somehow, since everyone in the city is a detective and appears to recognize her immediately. Even though it's been so long, she really should be disguised. No, she doesn't get a say anymore. She screwed up. I'm sorry, she already screwed up. Just ask the dad. She nearly just cost her child's life. I'm sorry, I am beyond angry with her.
저 새진리의 신자였어요. 누구보다도 새진리의 뜻에 따랐던 사람이고요. 그런데 고지를 받고 나도 모르는 무슨 죄를 저지른 게 아니에요.
And now I'm suspicious of this guy, and I don't know if I can trust him.
이 아기는 내가 잘못 살지 않았다. 내가 잘못 살지 않았다. 그거였다.
저한테 선택권이 있네.
No, you don't. I'm sorry, but
어차피 우린 다
she messed up. Okay.
선택권 없이 태어났나 봐요.
일단 지금 당장 아기가 구제받았다는 영상 올릴 거예요. 최대한 많은 사람들이 볼 수 있게 만들어야 돼요.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
그거라면 저한테 좋은 방법이 있어요.
Telling
제가
people in advance what's
예전에
going to happen,
인터넷 방송 같은
it
걸
makes it
했었고.
far easier for them to find them. Do they know where you live? Ah, this is risky. Oh, come on. It's this guy? It's the skull mask guy?
저도 오늘 여러분에게
Hmm.
태어난 지 며칠도 안 된 아기가
Damn, don't tell me that this is just a play and he's just going to either call them or try to do something. Okay, so they're broadcasting the decree first.
아기는 내일 밤 9시 30분에 시연을 당하기로 되어 있습니다. 우리는 이 죄 없는 아기의 시연
Wait, why does he
수술을
have that look on
준비하겠습니다.
his face?
판단은 여러분 수술해 주십시오.
I mean, I already didn't trust him the moment they said he was a part of New Truth. I trusted him even less when I realized that he was the skull mask guy, and I trust him even less with that look on his face.
원죄론으로 가야 되지 않나? 그러니까 인간은
I said this 2 episodes. I said that an episode ago. That means that you're all doomed. If you're all sinners.
시연도 조작됐다고 잡아떼야죠.
그러면 당장 우리가
You
중계하는
staged yours as well.
들고 일어날 걸요?
이봐요. 아까부터 계속 딴지만 거는데 지금 해결 방안을 생각해보자.
I know something is gonna go wrong with that skull mask freak. He's gonna do something.
애기 울음소리가 너무 듣기 싫었어요.
I don't know. Simple message that all babies say. They want their mother.
그게 다 자기를 살려달라고 그 얘기를 하는 거였어요.
I'm trying to be a bit more forgiving of her, guys. I'm trying.
처음이에요. 누군가 이렇게 강하게 나한테 도와달라고 하는 게. 나 아니면 안 된다고 말하는 게.
I don't know how that's gonna go when the bruisers show up. But I admire her courage. The moment you decide to do this, every single person involved needs to be kept on. She should have at least have someone watching him. Where are the other 2 guys that were with her? Oh, okay. So this is when it happened. Okay. His I don't know, his appearance changed when he discovered the date and time. But why?
지금 저만 있는 게 아니라 우리 의장단 모두 모여
I mean,
있습니다.
yeah, he's selling them out. But what does he think this would change his decree somehow?
김 잘 들어봐. 이게 도대체 어떤 신의 의도인지. 나는 3년 전에 고지를 받았어. 지옥에 간다고.
It has something to do with the baby's time and date. The same time as the baby's?
그런데 비네신하고 아기가 하루 전에 우리 집으로 왔단 말이야. 내가 시험 받기로 한 시간이 아기가 시험 받고 5분 뒤더라.
Okay, so it's 5 minutes after, and why does he think there's some relevance to that?
절대적 메시지입니다. 제 생각에는 신도 실수를 한다는 증명, 그리고 그 실수를 보잡으려는 의지가.
I'm not following. God was off by.
이동욱 씨는 신의 실수를 덮어주는 앞으로 신이 가장 고마워해야 하는 존재.
I'm sorry, that makes no sense to me. I don't know how anyone would believe that. Because their decrees 5 minutes apart, there's a hidden message in there. You're still going to die. I don't know. The Soto group is very careless, man. They are very careless. They had 2 other members there, or that were with them before. Everyone involved with this, they should have someone accompanying them, especially after what happened to the professor. I don't understand why they're being so careless with everything. Now they arrive. Now they arrive. These guys are always just too late to the party.
왜? 엄마.
Wow. So all 3 of them got taken down by this guy. Be on guard, man. Something. How did this guy manage to kill all 3 of them? And they all were heading in the same direction.
정신 차려봐요.
내가 누군지 모르시는구나. 아, 나 그래도 예전에 화살턱들 사이에선 진짜 유명했었는데. 감싸준 사람이지. 내 계획이 있는데 말이야. 들어봐봐.
I still don't understand what he means covering up God's mistake. You're both still going to die. Both you and the child are going to die. So I don't understand that.
사람들은 도대체 이게 누가 시연을 당한 건지 악인은 어떻게 된 건지 모든 게 애매해져 버리는 거지. 애매해져 버리는 거야.
Neither do I, buddy. Neither do I. I don't think he had any senses to begin with.
신과 가장 가까운 인간이야.
Kill him. Do not leave him there. Don't, what? Oh my god. Oh boy. She should really trade that baton for a knife or something. Well, maybe this is for the best. I was going to say she should try and help her rather than running away, but I think the time's almost here. No, they now know the location. Hopefully, hopefully the demonstration happens before they can stop it. Not that anyone wants to see a baby subject to that, but they really should have a counter for some of these demonstrations so we can see when it's about to happen. Thank you. Oh my god. Somebody put this guy out of his misery. Don't stop. Why do you keep leaving this guy? Okay. Ah, oh my god. Alright, Mom. People are recording it, so there's no disputing it after this. Oh? Oh, okay. Oh. No one else is even trying to help. I mean, I don't think there's much they can do, but it's gonna stand back and watch a baby get killed. Alright, doesn't that mean that they're all gonna die together then? They can't get to it. So I didn't think they could kill other people, although I've already said, you know, in the process that they're doing it, a lot of people could end up getting killed. You're just gonna burn all three of them. Okay. What now? The broadcast is out, but she's got to feel like she failed again to protect someone else. Oh, baby's crying. Okay, interesting. Oh, dear God, this guy's still here. One time they're gonna start worshiping this baby as the Messiah now. Isn't it his time yet?
메시지가 너무 복잡해서 못 알아듣겠어.
Nope. Yep, he's still insane. Please, somebody just kill him already. And they still have new truths to worry about on their way. And no one is stepping in to help. Still. Yeah. It's gotta be his time now, right? Yep, got the baby. Yep, they could have just stuck around. Not a whole lot of answers, a lot of questions. Why was the baby spared? Or it wasn't spared, but because they intervened. But I don't know. It still ended up killing both the mother and the father, not just one. I guess she's fine from the new truth at this point because it's already been broadcast and they can't really act freely to harm her or the child at the moment. I still think the new truth will just try to explain this away and some people will actually still believe it, or they'll start worshiping the child, which is just the same, more of the same thing. So are we gonna be following two cults now? Or are we gonna finally trying to figure out what is causing this? Don't you dare touch our Messiah. Don't you touch our Messiah. What are you doing? You're not God's will anymore.
뭐라고? 그만해. 거짓말이.
Hey, we outnumber you. Come on.
야, 신의 원칙도 무시하고.
There's so many of you people here. This is the new truth, y'all. Police standing by, doing nothing.
당신을 폭행 현행범으로 체포합니다. 당신은 묵비권을 행사할 수 있고.
Yep, someone is doing their job.
변호사를 선임할 권리가 있고.
뭐야? 애들이 지금 무슨 짓을 하고 있는지 알아? 신이 아무 원칙이 없다는 게 뭘 의미하는지 알아? 정말이야. 앞으로 더 많은
Yeah, much like you've been helping the Arrowhead to sin and to kill people and beat them and kidnap them. Yeah. But I'm still pissed no one's tried to help that old man. Like, you all just stood around. I have to say, Jin needs better help. She needs better help because the people that have been a part of the Soho group so far, they've been trash. They have been absolute trash. And I don't like the way that taxi driver is looking in his mirror.
직진하면 경찰들이 검문선 쳐놨어요. 아까 오다가 봤어요. 위내진 변호사님.
Okay, knows who she is. Yes. Can you trust him?
신이 어떤 놈인지도 잘 모르고 관심도 없어요.
Oh, okay. I trust him.
여긴 인간들의 세상이라는 겁니다.
This man is speaking sense. Okay, this is back where it all started. Oh, I didn't even realize they encased it. It's still, her remains are still there. Okay, what is happening? Is she being brought back to life? Oh, I hope they didn't bury everyone else. Alright, the final episode of Hellbound. I have to say it ended on a very high note for me. Yeah, it ended on a high note. Before let's go into some of the criticisms that I do have of the show overall. First thing, Jin, the Soho group. She needs to align herself with a better rebel organization because they suck. They absolutely suck at their job. You know, between so many of their members being caught easily, the streamer with the skull head killing three of their members just that easily, There just some, she needs better help, and just perhaps, it's quite possible that most of the members of this group are just people who are just ordinary people who don't necessarily have any particular skills. They're just trying to help. But I didn't get that impression initially. So I didn't get that impression initially. So I was expecting more of them. And they were just taken down too easily, and found out too easily. So there was a lot to be. There's a lot, yeah. There's a lot of disappointment in that area, right? Oh, I realized that again. This is an adaptation of a web comic, and because of that medium, I think oftentimes you're required to have some sense of this, suspend your disbelief quite a bit when it comes to comics and manga, because it's as I mentioned, it's panel based, and so there are going to be instances where you move from one scene to the next, or from one incident to the next, and they leave out a lot of things, or it's left up to your imagination or assumptions to be made, and there isn't a whole lot of explanation as to how or why you get to that point. But in adapting this to a series, they need to fill in some of those gaps. I felt as though they didn't do that as well as they could have throughout this season. Just a lot of that, it's just some motivations, some things that have happened, like the Soho group and how they were so easily taken down, and so on, or why they were that reckless, considering that they were a group that is supposed to be providing security for others. They were very reckless in that regard. And then there are instances where some of the characters' motivations or why they make certain decisions just doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the moment. I spoke a bit about that with the detective and his dismissal of his daughter's behavior after discovering that she's been a part of a cult, and the same thing happened here with the producer. And then there's the obvious the response from the world escalating a bit too quickly for me. I again, this is something that we've never experienced before, so it's quite possible that the world will respond in an extreme way to this entity appearing before us and passing judgment. But I still feel as though there would be a lot of skeptics. As I mentioned before, look, there are several issues ongoing in the world now, none of which we can all come together and agree on. I don't think that this thing happens that we're all going to come together and agree that this is what we need to do and we need to all follow this director of new truth. I just don't think the entire country, whatever country you're in or world, will automatically fall in line that easily. Some people will be dismissive in that they shrug it off as CGI or a fan-made thing. Some will believe it's true but don't care because they're anarchists. Others will just be, atheists or skeptics and just outright deny that it happened. And then there will be others who believed it. And there will be some who believed it but do not follow the new truth, doctrine, right? It's why we have that many different religions throughout the world, and even those religions further branch out into subdivisions themselves, because no one can agree on this one thing, So it was a bit unrealistic that things escalated that quickly, that people fell in line and that they'd be behaving in the manner that they've all been behaving, that everyone would be, united in doing that. It just seems unrealistic to me. All right. Those are my criticisms for the show. Now on to the good. I think in terms of the concept and the whole idea, it is quite original. I have to say, I've not watched or read anything quite like this, so I give that to the writer. Doing a very good job with that. The characters, the format that it's being done in was a bit jarring at first, in that we were following one family initially and then we were moving on to follow a completely different group. But after a while, I was angry at the mother of the child in this second half of the season, but then I was able to understand where she was coming from towards the end. I was still very much upset with the decision that she made, but I was able to, at the very least, see that she found the courage that she needed to actually, protect her child in the end. So the format moving from one group or one protagonist to another was a bit jarring at first, but I think it very much suits this because you want to see how different people with different experiences and backgrounds are reacting to this thing that is happening. So I would actually I think the format suits this story quite well. And if you do pick up in the next season with a different group, still tied into Mini Jin and the child somehow, but a different group, I'd actually quite like that. The CGI for the executors of hell, it's great in some scenes and in others not so much, but the way in which they're carrying out these punishments or whatever demonstrations, whatever, it's different each time, and because of that, I don't mind the CGI so much. So each time you see it, it's not just the same thing, and I quite appreciate that they've actually tried to add some variety to it. But as for the whole concept of this being and the revelation at the end, where the mom who died in the first half of the season, she reappeared from that corpse, suggests that I don't recall who was that said it. Yeah, it was the police chief in the first half, that where he got the results back, and they discovered that the remnants were not human, and they were from something that we couldn't explain. And so that suggests that what these executors of hell are doing is that they're maybe transporting these people to another place. As for what they're taking them there to do, I'm not sure. That we just don't know what they could possibly be taking. So when they said you're bound for hell, I don't know if it's the hell that we think and have in mind. And maybe there's a war going on in hell and they need the bodies, they need people to help them fight the war, I don't know. Or whether it's some other creature or something from some other world that needs these humans for some other purpose. But what's evident at this point is that it's not some omnipotent God, or it's not the God that we are thinking of that is doing this, and it's not a result of any sin or anything that you are committing. So it's completely random. But in the same breath, I mean, I don't know if they are teleporting humans to somewhere else. I don't know what they'd need a baby for. It can't be a war. I mean, I don't know what help a baby would be. It could be that they're from the future and they're just teleporting people to the future to participate in something, because maybe humanity's been wiped out, or our numbers have dwindled, and this is how I don't know. I'm just throwing things at the wall here, because even if that is the case and they're just teleporting them there to some other location, it doesn't explain why they need to beat them so badly and maul them before doing it. So I just don't know. Maybe it was necessary for the people in this time to think that that's what it was, that it was divine punishment, so as to not start investigations or something like that. So I mean that's my pitch. Maybe it's something happening in the future and they need to be taking humans from the I don't know, or it could be something that's happening on some faraway planet or other dimension. We just don't know. We just don't know, but it's certainly a twist that I didn't see coming. That the people are being returned. I don't know if everyone is being returned, or is it the case? Is it a case that this mom met some requirement wherever she went? She met some requirement there that allowed her to return, and return to this world. But again, it comes back to why take a baby. So I don't know if whoever it is or whatever it is that is doing this is doing it for some sinister reason, or something logical or practical. We just don't know. But so we'll need to hear from the mom here that's just been revived. You need to hear from her to find out, where were you? assuming she recalls where she was or what happened to her, but it's, as I said, it's a unique story. It's quite interesting. I'm probably gonna watch it over again just to see whether I missed anything. But oh my god, that streamer with the skull mask. I got angry a few times throughout this reaction because one, I just don't understand why Minnie Jane would trust. She said he was recommended to her by someone else. Fine, but even if you're not going to do background checks on these people, at the very least, I would think have someone watching every single person who now knows about this, because this is so important. This is so important. This is the fate of the world. You don't just let him leave and do whatever he feels like doing. He eventually got what was coming to him, though. So we'll see what becomes of that. What becomes of New Truth at this point, or the world, how the world will now react to that, remains to be seen. I mentioned initially that I thought the world, I thought New Truth would just spin this off as a sins of the father kind of thing. In which case, they did say it. If they did that, that would mean that everyone is born a sinner. And so there would be, they'd lose popularity and the wealth that comes with it. So I think at this point, people are going to push back, but I do worry whether they're still going to lose sight of the important thing, which is finding out what is happening, because people immediately started looking at this child as though it's some sort of messiah as well. So you may find that in season 2, it ends up being 2 factions or 2 cults going against the other. Instead of people coming, collectively deciding, okay, we need to figure out what is happening here. They may start to worship him, and then you have another faction that's worshiping New Truth or their director, and then nothing gets solved and nothing gets done. But the mother appearing at the end there may be the key to preventing that from happening. So we can only hope that common sense prevails. I can't say that with a straight face after seeing what happens in our world today, where common sense often, is absent from a lot of the discussions that we have. But we've got to be hopeful, if they can be hopeful in this world, we've got to be hopeful in ours. So it was a very, very interesting and unique experience. I'm definitely going to rewatch it, because I feel like I've probably missed some things. When you're reacting, it does happen. So I want to go back and just experience it a second time on my own. So I'm curious. I think this was the same writer and director for Train to Busan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if this is his first time doing television. I absolutely love Train to Busan. That was fantastic. I don't think this managed to capture the raw emotion that Train to Busan did, which is the one thing that I would say is absent from this series. And that's not so much a criticism, because this is a series, not a movie. And because of the format where you're moving from one family to the next, you don't have as much time with the character to really sympathize with them. You should, because this is a series and not a movie, and movie is a lot shorter. But it's not as gripping emotionally. Perhaps because the drama's at the background, whereas the thing we're dealing with and focused on is these monstrous entities coming, something that we've never experienced before. So you tend to be focused more on that and less on the drama that's happening. So it's not as gripping emotionally as Train to Busan was, but it was certainly still just as intense and a wild ride, if I had to say so. And this is a new, much more of a mystery than Train to Busan was, right? So in Train to Busan, we knew what the thing was. We knew this was a zombie outbreak, but here we just don't know what this thing is, and that adds an element that you wouldn't see in Train to Busan, but it fits perfectly in this world. And that layered on top of that is the whole discussion about cults and so on. So I mean, to end, as I mentioned before, you know, I've said it a few times throughout the other reactions, in being cautious about you know, celebrity worship, and you know, looking to people who should be leaders but seeing them as something above us, when they're not. They are, you know, they're here, they're appointed in their position to serve us. They're not above you or below you, you know. But I think there's a real danger, and this series captures it perfectly, that there's a real danger in us giving people the impression that they are somehow you know, somehow not on the same level as the rest of us. And that, I think, is a very dangerous thing. Let this be a caution. Let this be, you know, a cautious tale about what not to do when we find ourselves in these situations. It doesn't have to be as extreme as, you know, an omnipotent being coming down and passing judgment, but in our everyday lives, you know, whether it's movie stars, politicians, you know, singers, musicians, you know, kings, queens, whatever it may be. These individuals are not appointed by any god. They are human, just like you, me, and everyone else, and they are appointed to those positions by us, for us. And that's how we need to look at it. Right? They are public servants, whatever the case may be. Either they're at the end of the day, you know, like you, they're doing a job, and that's how we need to look at it. So I'll end it there, guys. I will end it there. This has been a wild ride, to say the least. And you know, make recommendations. You know, what other series you'd actually like me to check out. And to keep supporting the channel as well. Just remember to hit the subscribe button. And leave your comments below. I will see you for the next one.